Let me be your Harley riding Sturgis guide to help you have the best experience at the Sturgis Rally. I grew up in Sturgis, lived it, worked it, rode it all my life. In this video, I'm going to give you the scoop on everything you need to know about the Sturgis Rally. I don't usually feature myself in my videos, but in this one, you're going to get several peeks of me in my rally mode and me with a few of my motorcycles that I've had. What happens at the rally stays at the rally. Speaking of where to stay, if you have an RV and want hookups, you'll want to reserve a campsite well ahead of time, like reserve for next year before you leave this year's Sturgis. If you're dry camping or tenting or don't need hookups, you won't necessarily need reservations, but I'd still recommend them. Our family worked Glencoe Campground and ran the Sturgis Drag Strip prior to my folks owning Hog Heaven Campground for many years. Even though they sold it a couple years ago, I would still highly recommend the new local ownership with Hog Heaven as the preferred place to stay. It's not a shit show like the other big campgrounds such as Buffalo Chip. You can go there for concerts. Staff at Hog Heaven are friends and family and locals with great attitudes and are typical, helpful hometown hospitality. You can also try to get a hotel room, rent a local's home, or stay at an Airbnb anywhere in the hills if you'd rather not stay right in the congestion of town. Here's a pro tip. If you're riding out here, don't load your bike down. Ride safer and ship your tenting gear to your private campground via UPS. Send it general delivery to the post office. Or if there's a group of you, consider renting a storage unit to keep your gear all year until you come back again next year. My favorite rides are Iron Mountain Road and the Pigtail Bridges. See my guide on the Southern Hills in the links below. Boulder Canyon and Spearfish Canyon to Deadwood. I also have a guide to the Northern Hills, the best kept secret, Vinokur Canyon to Nemo, and Highway 385 which goes past Pactola Lake, a beautiful sight and cool place for a swim on a hot day. Shady corners can get cool, and you should plan on a wild hailstorm, windstorm, or thunderstorm while you're here. Stake down your tents and carry rain gear with you. One year, I even encountered ice on a bridge in the higher hills in the early morning. Some people stay in the hills and ride the trails on their ATVs and side-by-sides, rarely heading into Sturgis during their stay.
Let's go! Let's go! Come on! Yeah.
Be a smart rider. If you're inexperienced, just got your first big Harley, or are a timid rider, this is not the best event to cut your teeth on. Every year there are several fatal accidents. We have sharp corners, tons of traffic, many drunk bike drivers, and distracted riders. If you need a safe ride, had some drinks, and need to get home, don't get behind the wheel or on a bike. The cops will get you, or you could be involved in an accident, and you don't want to hurt yourself or anyone else due to a dumb decision. You have other options such as the bus, cab companies like Canyon Cab, or Lyft, but Lyft is not allowed in city limits, and you won't be able to find a driver, get dropped off, or picked up in city limits. Head to Dairy Queen on the west side, or the Lyft app will also allow you to schedule a ride from the Chip outside of town. A lot of people come here for the concerts. The big names are typically at the Buffalo Chip, and you don't need to camp there to attend one of their concerts. Full Throttle has concerts, as does Glencoe, and most of the bigger campgrounds and bars have regional bands to take in. My favorite concert venue is right in downtown Sturgis at the Iron Horse Saloon. They're completely free, surprisingly big names, and super fun. The Loud American is locally owned by friends of mine and have 2 stages with great regional bands playing each night. Check them out, along with the locally owned The Knuckle Saloon. Speaking of locally owned venues, the Oasis has karaoke every day, and the Hotel Sturgis is also owned by a classmate of mine. Anytime I can recommend local vendors and establishments, I will. It's nice to patronize the locals instead of letting that money leave town right away. Tom's Teas is the place to get t-shirts and souvenirs. Big Jar's Corn Shack is a place to get street food like this turkey leg we devoured. Sturgis Photo and Gifts, Black Hills Rally and Gifts, Sturgis Motorcycle Museum, and Just for Looks are locally owned and operated and open year-round too. A lot of us are working 2 jobs to help you during the rally or have taken vacation time to work it. You'll recognize us. We are the ones working hard, being helpful, and enjoying meeting you. Main Street in Lozelle is a place to be for shopping and people watching. Duck into the creepy dungeon bar for something different. Get a tattoo from a reputable outfit. Buy a t-shirt or some leather or riding glasses, because eye protection is required by law, but helmets are not. The majority of the bikes are Harleys, but you'll find all kinds. I had my Road King, my Yamaha FZ07, and my ATV and rode them all during the rally. You absolutely must take in some Jackpine Gypsies motorcycle racing. The whole reason the rally is in existence, thanks to JC Pappy Hoyle. They have flat track racing, hill climb, motocross, TT, Karts and mini sprints. I grew up at this track, going with my dad on summer weekends and during the rally, and it's by far the most exciting part of the rally. There's also Sturgis Dragway for street legals and AHDRA nitro bikes and mud drags. Dad ran the drag strip for years, and that's a spectacular show as well. Campfires are likely prohibited during the rally due to the sheer volume of people and depending on how dry the grasslands and mountains are. Observe the laws, the rules in the forest, and the policies of private campgrounds, and be aware of the fire danger. Do not ever throw a cigarette butt on the ground. Even that could start a major fire. Please help protect our beautiful land and animals here. Above all, be courteous and kind, don't litter, clean up after yourself, and don't be an asshole. That's the kind of biker we want to host in our little town of 7,000 that turns into a city of 700,000 for a week. Have fun and be safe.